All right, guys. Hey, welcome back, Stars Podcast. I am Ron Jordan.
Aaron Diaz, good to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So another Zoom meeting as we continue to be quarantined away from one another. It's a tear for me.
Yeah.
But so what you been up to this week?
Oh man, just trying to get my wits. So after that little 5K run, you know,
Uh huh.
that I that I did, man, my legs were on fire. And then I realized that I needed to get some new shoes.
Okay. What were you running before?
So before I was just running like regular Nikes or a
I got
pair of
this one too.
Adidas, but I had a pair of Morels that I used to run in and run trails and like go in the woods with.
Uh huh.
So those are the ones I used, and they were almost 5 years old.
Were you using
So
them like before as well?
yeah, yeah. So but when I was doing those runs, back 6 years ago, I
Yeah.
was just using Nikes, and I used to have the ones that the Nike Fit app uh, applicator was actually in the shoe.
Oh yeah, like the little red tab that went inside
Yes,
of it. Yeah, I remember
yes,
those.
yeah, yeah. So I had those, and it was cool because it would track me even during my halves and all that, and see where I was too.
Yeah, that was
Um,
like the OG Fitbits.
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
when they first came out because, like I said, when I worked at Finish Line, I got to see all that stuff before it actually came out. It was it was the coolest thing, but it was the hardest thing to sell to people. Like to
I don't know. It got me.
yeah, to sell that little thing was because they were so expensive.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
even remember how much they were. I just remember they were really expensive.
yeah, yeah. So
And you had to go and you had to like log onto your computer
yes.
to get into all your data because we didn't have smartphones then.
No, we did. It was 6 years ago. It wasn't freaking
No, when they
like.
first came out.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, no, when they first came out, I remember. I mean, maybe you could have put it on a phone. I don't know. Like maybe you could have logged on your phone or something. But I remember it was a real big pain point, which was you had to get the data onto your computer, and then that's how you could see the data. Like you had a
Yeah.
little dongle, like a Bluetooth dongle, so every time you walked by your computer,
Yes.
it would transfer just like your watch does now to your
Right.
phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was to a computer. I remember that. That was those were cool shoes, man.
Yeah. And they were okay. I'm not a big Nike fan though. Like they
Me
they they
either.
run real narrow,
Mm-hmm.
and of course when you start running, your feet start to swell,
Yeah,
and they molded to my foot, but it wasn't very comfortable. So these ones, I like the toe hole in them, in the Morels. Uh, so they like spread with my feet, and they have that barefoot technology, and which I got real geeky about barefoot shoes for a while because of the natural strengthening of your feet
sure.
and how we do, I guess, this justice for your feet if you're wearing, real comfortable
You know,
padding.
I attribute martial arts to my foot strength right now. Like my ability to run distances, I think is a direct correlation with my training in Krav Maga and Jiu Jitsu because you're always in bare feet, so you don't have any what do I want to say? You're strengthening your feet the whole time, so I've never had issues with my arches or my feet in general
Yeah,
while I've been running because I do train otherwise barefoot,
right, right.
which is really important. Just like you're talking about those narrow toe boxes and even shoes in general, it's like you're we do a disservice to our feet and strengthening them by padding them. You know, ever since Nike came out with the those first shoes with the raised soles,
Uh-huh.
that's when all the I can't remember who it was. They were talking about it as far as basketball players go. Like once you, because every time that the basketball players were wearing like the Chuck Taylors and things like that, they never had the rolled ankles. But now that you elevated the foot off of the ground with the big cushioned soles, you have more rolled ankles.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much support that you put up the shoe, like the high tops and mid tops, like it helps, but you're raising that center of gravity, and it's giving you that ability to roll your ankle. I can't remember who the hell it was that was talking about that, but it was a basketball player, and they were talking about shoes in general. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's crazy. I mean, why are we doing this to ourselves?
I don't know. I do know that those shoes that you're talking about though, with the barefoot technology, there was a lawsuit that went out against those five finger shoes or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
because they were purporting that you could run long distances and things like that in them, but if you just put them on and haven't run for a long time, and you try and go in long distance, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is not the five finger shoes. It's just that the it has a separation in the bottom of the big toe and the rest of the foot. So it's all molded together. It just
Mm-hmm.
has that movement in the sole of the shoe.
That's neat. I'll have to check those out. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, they're Trail Fives. Just came in, and I was hoping it came in sooner. They were actually supposed to come in Sunday, which was pretty cool, but they came in yesterday, and I was like, man, I want to get out there. Here I am telling everybody the beast is awoken, and I haven't
Yeah.
done anything. I said it could be though.
Oh,
Could be.
could be woken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I couldn't believe the turnout we had on Sunday. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing.
Bro,
60 plus families. I mean, we had over 500 miles, and they just like kept pouring in throughout the day. Even into the evening, people were going. It was unreal. I put it out there like maybe my couple of my friends would join in,
yeah.
no big deal. But yeah, the buy-in was phenomenal. And then my wife in the background is planning a finish line for me, which I had no idea about. I did see
Hmm.
the Lords is like, so I was going by I was on, I don't know, mile 25 at this point, and I come down by the elementary school, and I'm walking up the hill by the elementary school. If anybody has run Slippery Rock, I mean, I figured out that Slippery Rock is kind of like in a divot. I swear to God, like to get out of Slippery Rock, you got to go uphill every single way. Doesn't matter.
Uh,
But there's a hill by the elementary school that I was going up. I was walking. I was kind of throwing down some water just to finish out the run. And I see the Lords. Lords is coming by me. And they're like yelling and beeping. And I'm like, what are you guys doing around? You know? And then I kind of put it together. I'm like, well, maybe they're going to the house. But like, why would they go to the house? It doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
And
You're like, hey,
then,
I need a shower at least. Come on.
yeah, right. But no, I come down into our cul-de-sac and I make the turn, and I could hear the music. And I've talked about this before. When you can hear that music at the finish line, it gives you something. There's
Yeah.
something about that music at the end that you're like, or even like whenever you can hear it a little bit in the distance, it's getting close. And man, I come down our cul-de-sac and I look over, and there's like everybody in my neighborhood just
Yeah, that's
cheering,
awesome.
cowbells. Eye of the Tiger is playing. The kids are out there with silly string spraying me. Somebody had like one of those big like in the color run where they kind of pop the thing and all the color goes
Yeah.
everywhere. Somebody had one of those. It was nuts. Everybody made signs.
Yeah,
I,
that
I
was
mean,
good,
you want to
bro.
talk about just like filling your heart up. That's where it was. And then of course, like I get all weepy as I come around the turn. I'm like, you got to get it together, because I had to do like the other side of the cul-de-sac, and I said to myself, I'm like, get it together. As you come back up through, you better not be crying anymore. So it was all good, man. It was just incredible, the buy-in that happened, and then we we go to Sam's Club, and obviously during this time there
Okay,
are
so let's back up a little bit because you got right into your story
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
nobody even know what you were doing.
Oh yeah, I guess some people might not.
Yeah, it's not just me and you talking here.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
talking to the world.
I feel like everybody knows about it, you know. So I did a charity event for my birthday. I was supposed to run the Pittsburgh Marathon. It was obviously canceled due to us all being quarantined and social distancing. But it was important to me. It's on my vision board that I have for the goals for 2020 is I had to do 26.2 a marathon, and it just so happened to fall on my birthday was the Pittsburgh Marathon. And once it got canceled, I just kind of made a decision. I said, well, I'm gonna do it anyhow, and I needed to figure out a route to run. So I got online, and there's a free app that you can download if you guys want to make your own routes and try and figure out distances. It's called plotaroute.com. And you can go through there and plot your own route, and it gives you you can do live tracking on it as well, which was really neat.
Oh,
So
that's
you can
cool.
yeah, so you can send out a link, and I did that. So everybody who was part of our closed group was able to see me in real time. Um, so you could see what I was actually doing, which was really neat. I didn't even know that that was a possibility. But anyhow, so I plotted out the route. It took me a little while to figure out different routes to get to the 26.2. I ended up with 26.3, so it was pretty close. Um, but weird thing, my Garmin watch didn't register 26.3. It registered at
Oh,
26.02 or something. But on the plotter route, it registered 26.8 something. So there was a discrepancy there.
yeah. Well, there is a. I know on some of those apps, like I know on Nike Fit app, like you can go over or under 100, 200 feet.
Yeah.
So you can say, is this a 5K or if it's not, so you can
Right.
put what you the exact is, and then, it'll register that way.
Yeah.
So technology, bro, we're freaking working with a satellite above us.
I
Like,
know. I know. I'm thinking to myself like, "Hey, satellite must have shifted cuz this is off today, you know?" Um but so just to go back a little bit even before I plotted the route, I was on a run. It was 2 weeks ago at this point, a week before the marathon, and I was thinking to myself like, everybody's kind of down and out right now and not feeling the greatest. Everybody's separated. I've been seeing a lot of virtual runs that have been going on, virtual races, that you can just do on your own, and you get a medal and shit like that. But I'm like, that's all well and good. I'd like to play off of that, and I want to do it for a good cause. And I'm always talking about feeding the hungry and doing charitable things and being selfless. I'm like, well, how can I do that and also make the greatest impact? And I just came up with the idea that said, maybe I'll get all my friends involved, and every single mile that they put in, that'll be one food donation. So I ran it by Alyssa, and I said to her, I go, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to do it. What do you think? And she was on board immediately, which made me really excited because I'm like, okay, this is a good idea because she's
yeah,
she's my dream killer.
right.
She's the one who, but no, and you need that
Out
in
of
your
love,
life.
though.
Yeah,
Out of
out
love.
of total love because like if I come up because you know me, I come up with some harebrained ideas and it's like, hey man, whoa, pump the brakes, you know. And once she was on board, I said, okay, this is a good idea then. And she created the event. We invited a bunch of people, some folks that we knew would definitely get in, and other ones that maybe they'd get in, maybe not, but they're close friends, and we wanted everybody involved. Um, and man, immediately everybody started accepting, and that blew me away. And then it also made me super overwhelmed because I'm like, okay, this is real now. Now you really have to go out there and run a marathon. So I got really overwhelmed, and then that's when I plotted the route, and to create a plan to kind of maybe, ease my mind a little bit. So
Yeah.
throughout that week leading up to the marathon, I ran two different legs, two different 10-mile legs of that run, just to also ease my mind a little more, because Keister Road, if anybody's ever driven on it, is awful as
Mm.
far as like the moguls go. The overall route had 1,700 feet of elevation change.
And that's different from the Pittsburgh, right? So because I know they
I
get
have,
pretty hilly too.
yeah, and I can't remember who I was talking to about it. I think it was Heather, actually, Heather Lords, where that the course I ran is similar to the Pittsburgh Marathon just in terms of the elevation change. I actually haven't looked at it of what the Pittsburgh Marathon is versus what I did. I haven't looked at it.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
so I wanted to run that piece of it because I've run the other leg of it 100 times, but I've never actually done that larger loop around Keister, up by Prize Auto, and then back down through. So I've never done that all together.
yeah.
So just to kind of cure my well being, I had to do that for myself there.
So go ahead. So you did the route. You start to quell your mind
Yeah,
because you were getting really anxious, and then you were overwhelmed by the popularity and everybody that wanted to come
yeah, it
on it.
was in.
I think it honestly hit at the right time for everybody. People were just freaking. I mean, I know I'm going stir crazy out here because we're still trying to find this new normal, right? So I was like, all right, but then the accountability that you put, and Alyssa will freaking hound you if you didn't do it. Like your pit bull's coming after everybody
Oh yeah, yeah,
with
absolutely,
like
and
a whole bunch of judgment.
right. I don't think that. No, she wouldn't judge me. She's
I
always in my
do.
corner. But no. So even more leading up to that, something else that Alyssa and I did on Saturday was she follows one of these influencers named Rachel Hollis, and she had a virtual event, a virtual conference. And something that they kept talking about in that conference was showing up for yourself, keeping promises for yourself. And it was just like, dude, that's exactly what I've been talking about.
Yeah.
Just you have to keep the promise for yourself. You have to be able to show up for yourself. Some You coming in? What's up?
Pitbull? Dream Killer?
You're not you're not awful. No, you're good. Alyssa just came in
Don't
the
forget the
studio.
judgment.
And the
Don't forget the
judgment?
judgment.
No, we actually talked about this yesterday. It makes the realistic expectations of situations. It's so funny. She's in studio now. I heard her coming down the steps. That's why I stopped talking. I'm like, what did we say? It's all out of respect.
I just really like your face right now. It's super fun.
Hey, it's all live.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. No, you'll see my comment in the things.
I see it.
I don't kill dreams. I help you assess risk and reward. And it's just that simple. So, there you go.
Alyssa, just pull up a chair.
Nah,
Come
it's
on.
good. No, I don't need to be on any cameras this morning. That's okay.
She crashed the party, guys. She's in studio.
That's what I do. I'm killing some dreams. I'm passing
killing
some
dreams.
judgment. I'm passing
I have
some
said that.
judgment.
I've called you Dream Killer
No,
before.
I know. And you know what? I know that what that's rooted in. That's rooted in my son.
What do you mean?
So when he was, I don't
Get
know.
her a mic.
I know.
When he was like in 6th or 7th grade, he came
You
to
just
me.
come over here. You'll be off. You won't be
Yeah,
on camera.
When he was in 6th or 7th grade, he came to me and he was like, I found this ad in the back of Game Former magazine, because Game Former magazine is what you get when you sign up at GameStop. And he's like, there's this ad in the back. I can go be a video game maker. If I just sign up for this 18-month program, I can do it. And I was like, kid, listen, like, that's not really legit. Like, people who make real games go to, like, MIT. They go to all these other different types of schools, like engineers, CMU. They go to, like, big schools, and they're good at, like, math and engineering. And, like, here's the thing. you're not naturally really great at math. I'm sorry you acquired that trait from me. Like, I'm not, listen, I went to law school for a reason. It's because I'm not awesome at math. That's not really why, but it's a big factor. Okay, I'm not good at math. So I was like, listen, you're just not naturally good at math. And he just looked at me, like, with this look in his face, like, I'm not, what? What? And he was just like, are you kidding me? And I was like, listen, he's like, you just killed my dream.
Nice. Yes.
And
That's
I'm like,
legality.
and I'm like, I'm not killing your dream. I'm helping you understand that if you want this dream, you better work your ass off and become good at math. So it's not about, I'm not killing your dream. I'm telling you what work you're going to have to put into it if that's what you want.
That's why he's in the Navy now? Or
what? There ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Actually, he's got an awesome job in the Navy, and it requires a lot of brains.
Is he a mathematician?
He is not a mathematician. He is not. But he is in an IT-related job with the Navy. And that's all I'll say about that. But my point is that it wasn't about killing his dream. And he called me a dream killer to razz me from there on out. He'll probably call me a dream killer again. But that's how the dream killer thing came about, because I was like, listen, kid, you wanna do this. You're just not naturally good at this. You're going to have to work at it if that's what you want. So, and that's the same thing with,
with all my stuff.
With all your stuff. Like, listen, I'm not here to kill your dream. I'm just here to present to you the risks and rewards and what work's going to have to go in here. Because a lot of this stuff, the dreams are intuitive. Your dreams are intuitive, but the work isn't always.
No.
It's off a feeling, kind of like when we used to talk about feel-good projects.
Right.
Or, emotion projects, or,
Yeah, the passion projects that you set out to do.
Well, the outcome of this passion project we posted on the event yesterday. So if the Corona birthday Miles for Food 2020 run, the pictures for the outcome of everyone's work was posted yesterday. So anybody wants to check that out.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, thanks, Alyssa. Love you.
Yeah. I'll walk away now so you continue to talk about me the way you were. But
it was not negative, though. You're not like some big monster. We love you.
She's like the accountability monster.
No more name calling, I guess. Shit. That got serious. No, just kidding. But no, so we did that virtual event with Rachel Hollis and Dave Hollis, and they had a couple different speakers on there. One of them was the E.T. Thomas, Eric Thomas.
E.T. Hip Hopper, yeah.
E.T. Hip Hopper, yeah. So it was funny. So one of his messages in particular rang with me. It was like, and it was very controversial in my head right at the beginning. He said, we hope for coronavirus. We hope for times like this. As leaders, this is our time to shine. This is where we need to step up. Nobody asked for it. Nobody knew nobody knew who I was until the crash of '08. Nobody knew who I was. But when times like these come up, leaders step up. And I was like, dude, I like when I hear stuff like that, I get like a tear in my eye, man, and I'm just like, yeah, man. Yeah, we got to step up as leaders, not only in our community, immediate community, but just broader scope. We got to step up. Right. And that's, as soon as I heard that, man, that was on Saturday. I got up Sunday, man. I was fired up. You couldn't have stopped me. You couldn't have stopped me from doing that thing. I ended up messing up my toe on Friday. Like, I broke my middle toe on the Friday beforehand. I mean, my toe is super big. It's very swollen. Didn't even feel it. Like, just something came over me that, and this sounds crazy, but the amount of people that were behind me that really gave me some sort of energy to just kick ass on Sunday. I mean, I ran faster than I've ever ran before. Bro, it was incredible. I was looking down at my watch at one point. I was running 7:45 miles.
Whoa.
And I'm 205 pounds, 208 pounds. I mean, like, I don't run that fast.
Yeah.
I'm built for distance, not quickness. But man, I was doing 7:45, 8:30s. I did a half marathon in under 2 hours, and that was a big
Yeah.
goal of mine. I beat it by 5 minutes. I mean, it was there, there's no way that everybody that joined in and everybody who was supporting me, there's no way that that didn't play a role in my mindset. And not only, they showed up for themselves too. So that was something that I was trying to inspire in others was, you know, we talk about it all the time is to keep these promises to yourself. And that's how you can gain that confidence to be a better you. Is when you can keep a promise to yourself, you can start keeping promises to others.
Yeah. Yeah. And what else motivated me aside from that? And this was on my side. That's what I knew I was gonna run a 5K. I didn't even want to, like it was a tough weekend. I was putting in a garden this weekend,
Oh,
like that
beautiful.
same weekend, and like we were moving rocks. It was crazy. So I already had my workout, and I was like, man, I got to do this 5K. So the accountability,
It's okay.
was there. So when we were talking to Mike the last interview that we had on the Stars podcast, and shout out to Mike because I think that you were all in on this too. Um, like he was just as motivating. He was just as like you got to get out there and do it for yourself. He's like talking the same things you were, and it
Yeah.
comes back to uh like I could say something, it might not resonate with you. You could say something, it will resonate to everybody. So it's all about in the package and who's going to present it. So if you're just out there talking to the world, you might not know who you will affect.
Yeah. No,
It
I
was
agree with you. And that's, I mean, we talked about that before when, you would teach, if you taught my daughter something, I could teach her the same thing and she won't listen to me, but she'll listen to you.
mhm.
It's, yeah, same message, different package. And sometimes it's received better that way. Yeah.
Yeah, because these virtual challenges, this is something that people seen before, but then it came real when you were given it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like there's other people out there making millions. Like this is their lifestyle to create challenges, to create platforms to do exactly what you did, and you
Right.
just threw it as a whim.
Yeah.
And look how many people you moved, and look at the great production that came out of it. It was awesome. I
Yeah.
was happy to be a part of it.
Well, I was happy you were a part of it. Yeah. Literally moved people. And the weather was beautiful. It wasn't supposed to be that nice. It wasn't. It was supposed to be kind of a dreary day. And man, it was just like the perfect day. Mid 60s. It got up to 76 that day. The sun was beautiful.
Yeah,
I
it
could have
was a
used
great
I,
running day.
I could have used without the sun. If truth be told, I went through, and thank God for Tad Campagna too. He followed me around on his bike. I think he put in over 50 miles on his bike, chasing me around, getting me water, carrying water for me, meeting me at the corners where I needed him, calling my wife to come meet us because I needed the Pedialyte and I needed food. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible what he did for me. Um, he didn't have to do that,
Yeah.
but
So I know there was something sometimes doing runs. Did you feel like you were the only person on earth?
oh yeah, I didn't even remember half of the run.
Yeah.
I got back into town and you don't remember a lot of it. There's bits and pieces that I remember, but you just fall into this mind numbing experience of
Uh-huh.
kind of one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. You hear your footsteps, you hear your breathing, you hear your heartbeat, or you feel your heartbeat in your throat. And you just get this cadence about you, and it's very um uh it's almost like sensory deprivation. You don't hear or see anything. You're
Hmm.
just you're moving relentlessly forward, and that's it. That's all you care about. And then
Yeah.
something will snap you out of it. Like I was going up Keister, and I was in that zone, and then a bunch of deer started running in the woods and scared the piss out of me, you know? So like you do snap out of it here and there, and those are the times that like I will remember what's going on. But yeah, man, there's some times where I don't even feel like I'm there. It's a weird thing. It's a
Yeah.
weird thing when you get into that 18 to 20 mile range. And I'm excited to even push further than that because I have a 50 miler in August that I'm really excited for, mostly because of the challenge that's going to be presented. Because I know how my legs felt after my run today. Now, granted, the Baker 50 is a little bit different, and if for those of you who don't understand a difference between an ultra and a regular marathon is typically all road. So it's very repetitive, but it's constant and it's fast. An ultra marathon, for me, is a little bit slower paced, and you can walk a little bit more. There's a lot more elevation change because it's all off-road and on trail. But I like ultras better because there are more food stations, first off. And secondly, there is a little bit more rest and recovery on those runs. For those of you who think that like I'm out there running the entire time, I'm not. I don't want to say it's impossible because there are plenty of actual runners out there that do that. But me, I don't run the entire time. I will walk on occasion, and those ultras give me that opportunity to rest and recover. So
Is that you being humble? Like, is it like, no, I need to stop so I can keep going? Or
yeah,
do you feel like disheartening, like, I gotta walk?
no, not at all. If I could continuously run the entire thing, I definitely would. I that doesn't bother me from that standpoint. But no, my legs just get so filled with blood that they get so tight because there's just so much in there, and they're tearing and ripping the entire time. And at some point, like going up hills, you just don't have the strength to make it. Like to go up that Keister Road, that was mile 16. And that was a huge hill. I mean, I would venture to guess that was probably, I don't know, a quarter-mile climb each,
Okay.
like eighth of a mile on a couple of them, but a quarter-mile climb on the very last one. And I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it up that hill.
So,
So I use those opportunities to eat and rehydrate because I can't.
That's true. Yeah.
I can't drink water while I'm running because I feel like I'm suffocating.
Like you're drowning, right?
Yes.
That's really good because I think that for one, I'm not the guy. And now, granted, I haven't done a full marathon, but I always felt like I was cheating myself if I walked. So another good thing, if you're out there starting out running, like to our audience out there, don't think of it as like I would think of it. Don't think of it as you're being defeated because
No.
you're actually still moving forward. So you're hearing it from you who do these runs consistently,
Right.
and you have to take a break. So it also, man, it's so funny because it also comes with life. Like
It's exactly what we talked about on Friday.
Yeah, I know we talked about falling forward, and if you have to take a pause, if you have to take a breath, if you have to walk a little bit, if you have to stumble, maybe bandage yourself up, but keep moving. That's life right there.
Yeah. My neighbor says it best. It's relentless forward progress.
Yes. Yeah. And I think people, one, could and should really hear what you're saying, that, oh, wow, he runs all the time. He does these 50Ks and ultra marathons, but he walks. Like, that's good. That's a real, instead of you playing that Instagram or that social media post of you doing these runs and smiling and like, hey, yeah, I'm all good. Like, no, I'm dying on the inside right now.
Oh, bro. Yeah. I mean, my legs, honest to God, my legs hurt from mile 8 on. Like they hurt. Going down hills, the amount of pain that goes up in through your hips, into your like your quads and your hammies and your ass into your hips, like it
Yeah.
all just hurts. When they talk about embrace the suck, it sucks. Like it really sucks. You got to dig freaking deep as to why the hell you're doing it. And what better why did I have on Sunday than feeding my brothers and sisters in a time of need?
Yeah.
Like how much better does it get?
Right.
For me, it doesn't. It doesn't get any better because that's what I'm all about. It's all about being selfless and helping each other out, especially during times of need.
Yeah.
This should be all the time. It shouldn't just be right now. And that's really the big message here is you want fulfillment, you want satisfaction out of life, you want all these things. You're not, for me, I don't find it in things like watches and cars and big houses and boats, and that's just not me.
Yeah.
I find it
It's
in
about your
human
needs.
interaction. I find it in
Right.
human interaction and being able to be, and this also goes back to our virtual conference we did with Rachel Hollis, is one of the guys on there. You know, there's you got the villain, the victim, the hero, and there's a fourth one in there, is the guide. The guide is the one who helps the hero. The purpose of your life is to get to the hero status, achieve that, and be a guide to other
Yeah.
people. Help them. And that's really, and once, like that thing on Saturday, I'm so glad that we did it. I looked like a fool. They do this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got to get up and dance around. And like, I was fully drinking the Kool-Aid on Saturday. I was acting crazy, but I got a lot out of it. And what I got out of it was just that, being a guide and being selfless and showing up when the times are tough, for sure, is going to make everybody better around you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you take this pause for what it is. I mean, there's only so much that we could personally do, right? So you take this pause of life, of where you're at, and what are you going to do with it? Either this is going to inject you to do something to move forward, or you're gonna still live in the suck when this is all over. Because there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? Right now we're in the middle. The end is coming. And we just have to figure out what we're going to do when we come out of this. So
Yeah.
you're going to be stronger, or you're going to be, just cowering in a corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And look, there's still a lot of people struggling out there, and I get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And running outside isn't going to help you and things, but keeping those promises to yourself and just showing up for yourself, because that's where we beat ourselves up, is when nobody's looking. And what did I do today that I can be proud of? And I think you got to start small. If you're not doing anything and you're really lost in whatever is happening,
Yeah.
start small. Those small goals: brush your teeth every day, make your bed, get up on time, don't hit the snooze button. Something that I've been doing, waking up at 6 a.m. is a big task for me, especially during this time, because there's no reason to wake up before 8 o'clock when I have to start work. But for me, I'm waking up at 6 o'clock, not only to keep a promise to myself, but I have a pet robin in my garage now.
A pet robin.
Yeah, she made a nest in my garage. So I feel an obligation to not only make sure the garage is open so she can go out and get food in the morning, but also put her to bed at night. It's so weird, but it's like this accountability thing that I have. She's got 3 babies in her nest too, little fuzzballs. And it's like, you got to get up.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I've set up for myself. That's a small thing that pushes me to wake up.
To go take care of the robin.
It's weird. It's a weird thing, but I have one, and she's got 3 babies in there, and she's constantly in and out feeding them. And I looked at them yesterday, and they're not yapping yet, but soon enough.
So are you gonna like place food in your mouth and?
Oh, I've already done that. I'm their papa.
You're gonna have to replant the nest. You have to put it
Come,
outside
no,
on a tree or something.
no,
Oh, you're not. Okay.
no. She's gonna live there, and then the babies are gonna get it up, and then once they fly away, then I'll take down the nest. She comes
Yeah,
back.
no, no, that's what I'm saying. And then because I got one outside my back door, and I've left it. It's been there for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, and it gets inhabited every year.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I mean, I don't know if it's the same bird. They're
Yeah.
probably like, hey, what's up?
Well, it happened in the fall, and it happened again in the spring. So I assume that it's the same bird.
In the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird too because like other birds will try and come in, and then they get into a fight out in the driveway. It gets crazy. It gets real primal out there.
You got your own National Geographic going on.
I do. I got my birds, man. I have 2 bird feeders out back. I'm like an old man. I love that stuff.
So it's kind of talking about birds, and I know, of course, this is just how the show goes. You know, if you ever watch like Mike Tyson autobiographies, he talks about flipping pigeons.
Okay.
And in New York, on top of the buildings, they always had pigeon coops, and it was actually pretty amazing how people would, learn how to flip pigeons and
What is
take
flipping
care of.
pigeons?
So I never actually dealt with it, but there's a pigeon coop, and it's like their home. So you can have up to 10 to 15 pigeons, kind of like a chicken coop.
Okay.
And they'll let them out exercise, and they train them to stay in the area. And I mean, there's all, old wives' tales or old hood tales about like when you see the pigeon flipping, that means, either it's the cops or there's danger, or, they'll just be out there. So a lot of drug dealers used to use them too. But you take care of them just like you would, I'm assuming, chickens. And like they'll clap their hands, and they train them to do flips or stay in a certain circle, to do figure eights. And I seen them using like plastic bags on these huge rods and just twirling them in certain. So yeah, it's like a freaking circus out there.
That's amazing. I have to look that up. Flipping pigeons.
Yeah, flipping pigeons. Like Mike Tyson talked about flipping pigeons, and he says, when he was growing up or when he was lost, he would go back to flipping pigeons. He was talking about when he was younger, he was a bad apple, and this guy kind of taught him how to flip pigeons. So he went back to take care of the pigeons when he wasn't there, and they beat him up. And he was like, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm here to help." He's like, "Oh, I thought you was trying to come and steal my pigeons." So then they became friends, and he like took him, he put him under his wing and took care of him that way too. So he kind of goes back to that type of world because that was a safe place for him. Actually, it was funny because me and my wife was talking about this. We were saying that there's certain things that take you back to your childhood. If it's a food, if it's a song, if it's a smell, a type of soap, anything will take you back.
Yeah.
And that becomes like your safe space. And for her, it was these Rachel's, the local restaurant around here, Rachel's. They have pretzels, and that was something her mom used to work there. Her mom used to bring the pretzels home, and her mom has passed. And so sometimes it becomes like a nostalgic thing. Like she'll bring the pretzels and it reminds her of her mom. So is there something that ever like triggers you that takes you back to your childhood?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There was something on the run, actually. I had this smell, and I'm like, what is that smell? And it was almost like it was like musty, but cleaned, if that makes sense. It was like
a bear.
What's that?
A bear.
No, it wasn't a bear. But like that was the smell. It was like I always call like it smells like a basement, but a clean basement, kind of like old. And it reminded me of this church camp that I went to. And I thought about that church camp that I went to way back. But yeah, I mean, there's always stuff that pops up.
Yeah, there's things. Hot dogs is one for me. Corned beef, I hate it. Yeah,
Corned beef.
yeah, like the canned corned beef.
Oh, I'm not.
So when we were down on our luck, my mom used to make corned beef and rice, and so to this day, I won't eat corned beef and rice because
Okay.
it takes me back to like when we were broke. Like that
Yeah.
that was our filling meal because rice is cheap.
Yeah.
And rice is very filling. So you can have just a little piece of meat, or a little piece of potted canned meat, and it would fill your belly. But yeah, there's certain things that will take me back.
Yeah, I mean I've been reading this book. It's Into the Woods. It's just like a #1 bestseller from I don't even know when. But every book that you read is a #1 bestseller. But they were saying something in the book. It's a fiction book. It's like one of those crime novels. But no matter how old you get, you always have that little kid or that teenager inside of you. No matter what you try and do, it's still there. Like it's still
Yeah.
part of who you were. And you can't change it. You can't change that when those memories come up and the feelings that come over you. You just can't change it. It almost like is a time portal that puts you right back into that frame of mind.
Yeah. What's a song that takes you back?
What's a song that takes me back?
Yeah.
Huh. What's your song while I think?
A Soul to Soul. It's a back to life, back to reality. Like that was like a song that it was a real crazy transition time. I was by about 13 when Soul to Soul was out. It was the summer when I was like 13 years old. And I was going back away to school, so I was leaving, the projects, and I was going to school in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And so like that was a crazy transition time because I was realizing how I hated being in the projects. I was just like, man, this place is like a freaking jail, and I didn't know anything about jail, but I grew up in the projects, so it's on people's minds. And it was just it was a suffocating time. It's like, man, I just want to go out and like be free, get away from this concrete jungle. And I had good friends. I had really good friends growing up, but I just knew that this was not the space for me. And so that song really takes me back to like, and I get a little sweaty about it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't really have a song, but I have an album, the Kanye West College Dropout album.
Yeah.
That was one for me that like during high school, whenever I would go into school, there's a song on there that's talking more or less about the like school is meaningless. And I can't remember the name of the actual song, but I had a stereo system as well. So I had 12-inch subs in my car. And I would put both windows down. I was like, just like a super jag whenever I was in high school. And I would crank that thing up because there was always teachers, watching us come into school. Just crank it up the whole way. I would come in, it's, it was just my personality then. And it's cool to see where I'm at now. Cause I still got some of that in me. I still listen to a lot of that, a lot of that music. I can't even I can't let Brielle go into my phone to play music on like random because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous thing. But that would be the song or album, that one particular song, man, that sticks out to me. When I hear it, like I heard it on the Peloton the other day and I was like, oh yeah.
It took me back.
It took me straight back to a time where I was just like such a jag that I don't know why anybody dealt with me. I really don't. And it was a time in my life where like, I don't know. There was a lot going on, but man, it's like you said, it just takes you back there. It's taking me back right now. Like I can see going into the parking lot and then playing that music and all the teachers just looking at me like, who is this kid? And I just had that reputation.
Yeah. It's so funny. So I'm actually still like social media friends with my English teacher. And I could just, I would love to just listen to her. And what did you think about me when I was running around in, ninth, 10th grade? Like, did you think that I was going to be anything like this?
Yeah. It's always those against the grain kids though, that like, they kind of surprise you. Sometimes they don't, but a lot of the times they really surprise people, what we're capable of. And to me, I was bored. I was out of line completely. And sometimes you got to find it yourself the hard way.
Yeah. So you were bored out of your line. You were a rebel rouser.
I was.
and now you're freaking running miles to feed the hungry, bro.
But I'm still against the grain. Like I still refuse to get a 9-to-5. I refuse to work for somebody else. And that has a lot to do with my personality, like me and authority figures. And I think that's a big reason why martial arts is so good for me too, because like you have to be a student, you have to listen because you don't know anything about what you're doing.
Right. And if you don't do it right, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You're going to get hurt. Brass Monkey by Beastie Boys brings me back. That's what Josh Staples says.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see Josh as a Brass Monkey guy.
Brass Monkey. Funky Monkey.
Freaking Beastie Boys that was it.
That's my wife's jam, man. She's a Beastie Boys fangirl for sure. She loves that stuff.
They were from, I'm trying to remember where Beastie Boys were from. Were they from New York?
I couldn't even tell you. I'm bad with that. I'm bad with like pop culture references other than stupid movies. Like if it has anything to do with Adam Sandler, I'll probably know about it. Anything to do with Jim Carrey, I'll probably know about it. But like, I don't know. The music scene, the music and movie scene, like I knew of different types of music, but I don't know like a lot of artists. I don't know the names of songs. And again, it goes back to me being lack of detail oriented.
Yeah. So like, and I've talked about this. I do groups with offenders at my job, and there are certain movies that trigger me, trigger my lifestyle, and trigger my hoodness.
Yeah.
Right. And Menace to Society.
Beastie Boys are from New York, Brooklyn.
Yeah. Menace to Society. Remember that movie?
No.
Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious. What? Well, you're like freaking 10 years younger than me, so but yeah, Menace to Society is a bad trigger for me. Like it takes me back to a bad place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean a bad place? What's the movie about? I don't even know what the movie's about.
So
why does it take you to a place?
It goes back to these guys were just coming on the scene. They were in California where, they had their homies and they were selling drugs, and they became a real big time. One of the guys, one of the characters, became a real big time drug dealer, and he went up to like buying new clothes and new cars, and then he finally tried to get out. He found a woman, tried to get out, and they killed him. So like it was just the whole like morph of his life to being that guy that was the big jerk, and he thought he was better than everybody else, and he thought he was the toughest dude and nobody was going to mess with him. And then he gets, right when he's about to get out, they clip him down. Jada Pickett's in it, Lorenz Tate's in it. Like it was during that era.
Yeah.
The Jada Pickett? Yeah, I think it's Jada Pickett. Yeah. But yeah,
Chell says it's a funny movie.
it's not funny. There's nothing
She
funny
said,
about it.
she said it's funny. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Oh, man, you got to put it on the list. Menace to Society.
Dude, we watched it's so funny you say that. We watched Jerry Seinfeld's new stand-up on Netflix last night.
Oh gosh, he's
And
fun.
oh dude, he was hilarious. So that's the first time I've watched Jerry Seinfeld stand up. And it was PG, so Brielle watched it as well. And we were all sitting there cracking up, man. And one of the things that he was talking about is like the difference between great and suck are very close. And I was like, what does that mean? So he goes on to explain. He goes, you know, all your friends, they tell you, you got to go see this movie. It's great. You got to go to this restaurant. It's great. It's like, and I go and see the movie and I go to the restaurant and it sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks. But they think it's great. And I think it sucks. You know, and he's like, he keeps going through this and he goes, those are the only two things that we can feel. It's either great or it sucks.
Yeah, don't put me. I think it's a good movie, but like I said, don't. If you don't like it, I mean, it's up to you. That's my trigger movie, though. That was a
Chelsea
space
says,
that
she goes, you're not telling any of the funny parts at all. You're making it sound deep.
is deep.
Oh, she goes, oh, wait, I'm thinking Don't Be a Menace. My bad.
Yes, you're thinking to. That was the Damon Wayans spinoff, bro.
That was the Damon Wayans spinoff.
My hat is like morphing into the. I don't know if I like this. All right,
That better?
I don't know
I can't put mine forward because it covers. Because I have
because of the lighting. Yeah, I got forward lighting. Yeah,
I need
you got
lighting.
You got above lighting.
I was looking at lighting too the other day, but I don't know. I haven't made the jump.
Yeah, no, Menace Society is not a funny movie. Don't be a menace while drinking juice in the hood. That's the funny movie.
Got it. Got it. Understood. So let me ask you this: what else do you have going on right now? I mean, what are you working towards and trying to understand?
Well, I want to get back because I put that out there. And someone called me on my accountability this week about getting my miles up. So I'm going to get some miles. And I got to run this new pup, too, because she's starting to tear up my backyard. So I want to get some miles in. So I'm putting that back out there to the universe to keep me accountable.
Menace to Society uses the F word 305 times. Fun
what did
fact.
I say?
Fun fact.
But yeah.
So you gotta get miles in. So did you get your shoes in?
My shoes came in yesterday. Because so funny thing on this Nike Fit app, like I said, it brought my old times up from 6 years ago, and there was also a community that I had on there. We were trying to make whoever was first to get 500 miles actually got money. And I remember I was at like 297. There were people that were killing it on this group. And so, yeah, this was the old time OG freaking virtual challenges.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so there was one of the guys that I work with. He's on there. And I was like, bro, time to dust off the app, man. Let's get at it, you know. But
500 miles is a long way.
It was. Yeah, I was at 297. We had like 6 months to do it.
Okay. Damn, that's like almost 100 miles a month.
Yeah, we were also doing 5Ks and half marathons during that time. So we signed up. So everything, it was, you know, your local runs, it was whatever you did.
Yeah. No, it's still 25 miles a week.
I was kicking it. You know what? I didn't even break it down then like that. I just went out there. If I felt like running 7, I was running 7. Sometimes I'd run 6 and then go play basketball for 2 hours.
Yeah, you die now.
Oh, definitely. That's also why I blew out my calf for the same season.
I bet. Yeah. Recovery is important, folks. Recovery is important. You should sleep. You should sleep your full 6 to 8 hours, fully recover. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah, we tell you to be headstrong and fight through the pain and embrace the suck, but that's why I think coaches are so important to have somebody that's watching you and making sure that you're doing things the right way, because you will break yourself. Your body
Yeah.
will break. It's
Yeah.
not invincible, especially those of us who are, over 30, things break.
Yeah. I can't finish my garden because it's talking about snow this weekend. So
Yeah, so we did a garden a couple years ago, and we planted everything, and then the frost came and killed everything.
yeah.
So we said never again will we plant a plant before Mother's Day, because after Mother's Day there's highly unlikely you're going to get a freeze.
Yeah.
So we actually started a seed farm.
Yeah. I remember you told
We,
me.
Alyssa, started the
Yeah.
seed farm. But it's actually doing well. All of them have sprouted up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I cheat and do starter plants. So
We usually do. Yeah, we usually do.
what do you got going on?
Well, I still have the Peloton challenge with my buddy Rhett. So we are doing that. The output that he's putting up right now is it's a little ridiculous. So I told him, I said, to even this out, I said we need to do fast rides and we have to do climb rides, because if we just do climb rides the whole time, our outputs are going to be ridiculous. Because we both have strong legs and we can put the resistance up and just like go nuts for 20 minutes. And then it makes, so the challenge is you have 10 rides, and then you have your best 10 rides, you take the average output, and that's who wins. And then last month we were 2 points away from one another. It sucked. And it was for $25 a month.
Okay.
So it's like
so
a shirt.
Pay for the Peloton or what?
No, it's for like last month I Venmo'd him $25. He bought a shirt, like a Peloton shirt, because they're expensive.
Oh gosh.
So I have that going on. I'm still running. I went out yesterday. I put a 5-miler in. I can't wear my backpack right now because my back is still really, really sore from the pack that I was running. It's called a Orange Mud Double Quiver. Usually it's totally fine, but I think it's getting worn. So it's really abrasive on my back now. So it was like rubbing sandpaper on my back the entire run. Like whenever I was coming down, I think it was down 108 from Prize, I sprayed water on me and
it burned.
It was so bad. And at that point I knew it was like, well, this is going to suck for a while. And it's still sore on my right shoulder blade. It still sucks. I ended up buying a new pack from Orange Mud. They have this endurance pack. So I'm going to run bottles up front and a bladder in the back and try and see if that helps. Supposedly
you drink too.
Yeah, they have like the cut hose that you can use so you don't have to touch the bottles. And then the bottles that are up front, they have the cut hoses as well. I'm just hoping that it doesn't get in the way whenever I'm
slapping.
Yeah, like whenever I'm running, I hope like they don't slap me in the face and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we'll find out. But I bought that the other day because I think the double quiver is just about shot. Like I think it's done. Like some of the plastics coming through on the back. So
well, you could also wear a shirt.
I don't think you can do that. I think that's against the rules. I hate wearing a shirt. I did that on my one run that the previous week. I did that 10-miler up Keister. Yeah. My nipples started to bleed through my shirt.
They get like raw.
I look down and I'm like, there's blood running down my shirt. I'm like, okay, that's done. I took it right off and I finished the run without it. And it was cold and it was raining.
Well, you got huge nipples.
I do. So, as you can tell by the 3D photo that Alyssa posted, like whenever you're scrolling through, it was just like nipples on the post. I was cracking up. I think John Kuhn's the only one who said anything about it. It was freaking hilarious. But so I have that going on. What else do I got going on? Still trying to wake up 6 o'clock every day, reading by 6:30, writing by 7:15, and then doing my Duolingo by 7:45, and then starting work at 8 o'clock. So that's chip chop morning routine. I'm trying to keep that promise to myself, and keep that moving along.
Hey,
So
so we do have an interview coming up, right?
yeah, on Sunday we have amateur bodybuilder Joe Steele. He's coming on. You can follow him. He's on Instagram, Joe Steele. I think it's Joe_Steele.
Yeah, Joe_Steele. Yep.
So he's an amateur bodybuilder. He's also sponsored by Donuts and Deadlifts.
That's a cool group.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy, man. You follow his stories, and he's always giving out advice on workouts. He's also a personal fitness coach, so he does fitness plans, meal plans, all of that. And you look at the guy, and he's just totally jacked.
Yeah.
So he practices what he preaches, and that's the type of guy that we love here at Stars Podcast. And he agreed to come on, so he's coming on Sunday. We also have another guest. She hasn't committed to a date yet, but Tara, the Tiny Terror, she's fighting in Bellator. She's coming on. So talking to her, thanks to Josh Williams for the hookup on that. She works out at his gym, and she's awesome, man. You look at her Instagram, or not Instagram, but her Facebook. She's got a Facebook page, Tara the Tiny Terror, and you can see her workout routines as well. She just got sponsored by a nutrition company, so she's doing big things. And she was actually on the Cyborg card that was canceled.
Yeah.
So, big things coming up, guys. I mean, we big things coming up. It's been fun. It's been fun reaching out to these people, and based on all of your feedback and everything that we've been doing on iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio, this is starting to gain some traction. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Still talking about the disconnected ministry. He's a guy that's moving through God. And he's a real out of the box thinker when it comes to that. He's not your normal guy that's spreading the word. He came from a rough spot, and so still talking with him. So yeah, hey, we got some stuff coming on in Stars Podcast. We're moving forward, So keep clicking and liking, subscribing, throw some comments down there. And let's get this thing rolling.
Hey, it's already rolling. I'm good.
My man.
If there's one person that listens, that's good for me. I just like doing it. It's a good time. It feeds my hunger of connection. So it's a guilty pleasure.
I can't wait to get back in the studio.
I know. It's growing without you over here.
We're
getting professional. You see all the shit I have here.
And I guess we also need a bouncer outside the front door. So
I know some guys that know self-defense.
Yeah,
I know a couple. I know a couple guys that could shoot guns and know self-defense. So maybe
we'll get Big Trey and we'll have a velvet rope outside the door. And
as long as nobody waves a single lady in front of the house, we'll be good. Big Trey will be gone. All right, guys. Thank you for joining in. You can find me, Ambitious Distractions, on Instagram, and Aaron at
GC_Rican, Valor PDS, valorpds.com. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, guys. Enjoy the journey. See you next week.